All right, welcome back. Just a few moments ago, we did see some of the KwaZulu-Natal, the Premier, in fact, Thami Ntuli, arriving at the scene of where that fifth body remains trapped under the rubble at the site of the collapsed Redcliffe Temple in Verulam. Take a look there. The media must apologize. Our visuals are going to be a little bit shaky at this point as the media moves towards the Premier. He's likely to get out of the vehicle in the next few moments. I'm not sure if my colleague Ayanda Mhlongo is able to hear me. Remember, rescuers recovered the bodies of 4 people who died after that 4-storey building collapsed yesterday. We're likely to get a briefing from the Premier once he gets a brief from those that are on location and have a better understanding of how far they are in terms of finding that fifth body that is trapped. Ayanda, I'm not sure if you're able to hear me. I see that the KZN Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has arrived.
I can hear you indeed, Chris. Yeah, what our viewers are seeing live now in our visuals is the Premier of the province, Thamsanqa Ntuli. He has arrived here at the site, and we have been speaking about the fact that he is also here to do a site visit. We understand that he is going to then go up this steep hill, where he will then meet with the first responders, the rescue teams, just to get a brief and update in terms of this operation. He will then engage with the teams that are already here, and these are the investigation teams, just to give him an update in terms of the investigation that is going to be underway to determine the cause of this particular incident. We see now the Premier coming out of his vehicle, and he will be received by one of the site managers here. He will then make his way up this quite steep hill, where he is expected to then engage with the first responders, the search and rescue teams, to get an update in terms of what they have done so far. And as we've been saying, Chris, that they are still hard at work in efforts to retrieve the fifth body, which was located as of yesterday, but they just couldn't reach where the body is. And of course, their efforts also hampered by the heavy rains yesterday and in the afternoon, the search having to be called off due to the inclement weather and concerns around the safety for the rescuers. So the Premier will first meet with them to get that update, and thereafter he will then brief the media in terms of the report that he would have been given. One would imagine that as of yesterday, the MEC in the province, we had 2 MECs that were here. The MEC for Cooperative Governance, of course, that deals with the disasters, they were here. And then, of course, we had the MEC for Public Works, Martin Meyer. He was also part of the delegation that was here yesterday, and so they would have, one imagine, would have briefed the Premier yesterday in terms of this operation and the work that has been done. Griselda, we are trying to navigate up a very slippery slope, so if you don't hear me, I might have slipped or I'm out of breath, but we are trying to walk up with the Premier
until we'll stay on
and see when he engages with
as you walk up there, and let me just come in there. The Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Thami Ntuli, arriving at that collapsed temple site. He won't speak to the media now, as my colleague Ayanda Mhlongo has reported. He will get a brief from the rescue and recovery teams as that operation resumed this morning for the fifth body that remains trapped under the rubble at the site of that collapsed Redcliffe Temple. That's in Verulam. They've been working countless hours trying to ensure that they do get to everyone that could possibly be trapped. Ayanda Mhlongo reporting a bit earlier on that once this fifth body has been recovered, there'll be canine dogs that will be sent, and of course to try and ascertain whether there is anyone else that might still be trapped underneath that rubble. They've reached the top of that site at the moment, and I can only imagine, at least now we get a glimpse of the devastation right on top of the hill there. One can only but imagine, if we're talking about a four-storey building, how it would have collapsed there. I managed to see a white vehicle which is completely trapped or submerged underneath all of that rubble. So yesterday the operation had been called off due to heavy rain. I guess the rain sort of subsiding today. Some good news, at least somewhat, for these rescue and recovery teams that are still busy with this operation at the moment. One of the deceased, we do understand, is believed to be one of the directors of the temple. And indeed, the KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli is visiting that site here today. He will get a briefing. You see him just taking a look at some of the devastation there, being greeted by some of the rescue teams who will, of course, give him a briefing in terms of where they are, if they've managed to spot that fifth body that is still trapped. Is there any indication that there are more people that are still trapped underneath that rubble at this stage? And we're also likely to hear, because as Ayanda was reporting a bit earlier on, there is my colleague just right in front of the protectors there. Trust me, I know how very difficult it is to manage that terrain, having to walk up those steep hills and still get... Maybe let's just pause a bit and listen to what is being said there.
Colonel Craven from the local station. Colonel Craven from Metro Station. Mr. Danielson from the Metro Fire Chief there for today. And then all the other role players, I'm sure you've already met or you will meet them as we're going around. Yeah. Okay, just a brief thing. You know what happened on Friday. So on Friday, the members came and attended as a response. 11 people in total were rescued and removed to hospital. We searched the rest of the areas. No other rescues was available, and then yesterday morning early we restarted with a recovery operation. So officially a crime scene, as in we needed to try and find more bodies and everything like that. So yesterday, with the assistance with the dogs and all the role players here, we managed to recover 4 bodies yesterday during the day. Yeah. It averaged about 2 hours per body because of the cement. We'll show you actually the scene now as well. So we had to use like jackhammers, heavy machineries that was being brought by the different companies. Then this morning we resumed. We managed to locate another one, which we are in the process now of also clearing up and trying to remove. Another body that's under all the debris. I think it's under 2 floors.
Under 2 floors.
Yeah. So it's going to take quite a while to do the recovery. After which we'll have like about a 10-minute disclosure.
That will be the 5th one.
That will be the 5th confirmed one. So we're not sure on all the others is unconfirmed. We can't say. Nobody can tell us. There wasn't a roll call on how many members was actually part of the building site here. So we're working on all unconfirmed at this stage. But we've confirmed from our search and what we've been operating with the recovery is 5 bodies. We are busy with the 5th one now, after which we'll just stop and then we're going to put the dogs through again just to do a further search for us and clear some of the debris on the top, and then we will be continuing to search on.
It's still a long way to go.
It can be a week, it can be 2 weeks. You will see, if you take it down to the scene, you'll be able to see yourself actually. It's quite a lot of rubbish. You know, it was 4 stories, so it is quite a lot of debris down there, and it's going to be painstaking and slow to remove everything and recover, also from a safety aspect.
Any indication as to what really was an issue that made the agility of the structure?
We unfortunately we're not able. We're just purely here from the rescue side of things. Okay. Everything the structure of it will only be determined by the engineers and stuff. If there was a failure in that, or if it was just from pure nature or anything like that. So from our side, we can't give any other say specifically what happened. We just purely were called in the capacity of from rescue side. Yes. So we're just there to give closure and to process the scene.
Okay.
Maybe, Warren, can you brief the Premier on the different teams? Which of the teams which have been here since Friday up to today?
Okay, like I said, I will introduce you to the local SAPS, then the Metro Search and Rescue. We've got the eThekwini Fire Rescue. Yesterday we had Cape Town Disaster Management. We've also got the local provincial disaster management and national disaster management came yesterday. On the scene in the bottom, we've got it's all the police, South African Police Service search and rescue members. We've got IPSS Rescue, which is a private entity that's also assisting with all the recoveries, and then together with the eThekwini Fire and Metro. So it's purely it's a government entity that's basically working with everything like that. But we are liaising with disaster management. They've been here as well. We've showed them and we've given them feedback as well with regards to further proceedings, if additional manpower is needed or anything like that.
Oh, the engineers are not yet here to establish what caused the agility to
the engineers was here briefly yesterday, but yesterday afternoon we had to cancel the search because due to the weather last night. Yeah. We had to stop it, so it became unsafe for everyone. So the engineer did take a few samples, but we had to call the search off and move everybody away from the site for safety reasons.
So when is the engineer, if you are aware, is coming back?
I think he will be back today. He come with a national disaster yesterday.
Yes.
They said they will be returning again today.
Because I think it's very important to understand what really caused this kind of collapse. So when engineers are withdrawing before concluding the report, but I understand the issue of the importance of recovering the bodies first.
That's our main priority from this side. That is our main priority is to recover bodies to give the family closure.
I understand very well.
During that, the engineers will be here, so that they will continue with their operation, and we will continue with our operation or their investigation.
But Sheng, the owners of the church are around.
We are not sure.
So they might be all on the bottom. We did ask the family and everybody to be at the bottom. There's a gazebo there.
Yes.
Because it's a crime scene, we don't want too much movement, and because it's unsafe for everyone. So we've tried to keep everybody down at the bottom. So I'm sure we can arrange with the family and the contractors are all at the bottom, eh? Yeah, so they will all be at the bottom. So when we're done showing you around,
I would be able to see.
you're more than welcome to go see them down there, sir.
Because I would wish to see the owners, the family.
So Colonel Straydon will sort all that out for you, sir.
Yes.
To give it support, in fact. Yeah. Thank you, Shane. I think we can go and...
Okay, so we'll show you. Look, the access is down here, but it's quite muddy. I don't think you want to go for a long slide down today.
Let's go and see.
I'll show you, and then we will show you where you can have full access.
All right, there. That was the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal Thami Ntuli, who is getting a brief from the rescue teams insofar as the work that has been done. Then I could pick up, Griselda, you also might have heard one of the leaders of the rescue operation basically taking the Premier through, saying that it appears that it's still going to be quite some time. They're looking at the next week or 2 weeks for this operation to continue. Saying that because there were so many levels, 4 stories, so all the debris that has now fallen, it's going to take some time for them to be able to sift through or sort of move away slab by slab all this debris, saying that it is going to be quite a painstaking operation for them. And again, just saying that currently now they are trying to retrieve the 5th body, and once they're done, as we have earlier on reported, once they're done, they are then going to allow the grader to remove some of the debris. Thereafter, they're then going to be bringing in the K9 unit to come and assist with the search. Also mentioning, of course, that the K9s are from KwaZulu-Natal, and there has also been assistance from the Western Cape, and just taking the Premier through some of the teams that are here. So now the Premier with the MEC, Thulasizwe Buthelezi, are now making their way down to the scene. Of course, the media will not be permitted to go down. They're limiting the number of people that are going to be going down to the actual site, which is now a crime scene, according to SABC. The Premier, they're also asking about the families and where are the families of, and the rescuers then saying that the families were at the bottom of the steep slope where we came from. So once he's done, he is going to then go and meet with their families. For now, they're just taking him for him to see what they're dealing with and the actual site where this accident or where this incident happened. So it is, looking just at this terrain. They're even requiring a rope to be able to get down. It is also very slippery after yesterday's heavy rains, and the disaster teams also mentioning why they had to suspend operations yesterday, because the area was no longer safe for the rescuers. No indication at this moment, Chrisada, on how long this particular operation to rescue the fifth body will take, but they are hard at work, and we did see some of the rescuers actually sort of disappear underneath that concrete. As one presumes, they are now making their way sort of down through the debris to where the fifth body is. I'm just going to ask my colleague Raymond just to pan slightly on to my left, where we'll see these are the rescue teams. This is their hub where they meet. Their meetings are here, and they then make their way down to their site. It also seems like they are taking turns as well. As I was saying earlier, Chris, the heat today, it's incredibly hot and humid, and so if they do go underground, I would imagine that some would have to then come up for air, and then other teams then go down. But these are, you've got the paramedics and you've got the experts in terms of these operations, and this is where the search and rescue teams, as you see here, this is their base, and this is sort of the field operational center, if one can put it that way. This is their operational center, and so these live in your visuals are the men and women that are behind this very risky and very dangerous operation to try and recover the victims of this temple crash. Just move very slowly with my colleague Raymond, just to get a bit of a view of what we can see from our vantage point. As we did say, we were unable to get down to the bottom because it is a crime scene, and they're trying to limit the number of people that gain access there. So this is what you see now. This is the scene from the top of the hill, the Premier getting a sight view of this destruction and some of the work that the rescuers are doing. I'm just looking, Criselda, from my vantage point at just how thick these slabs are, just how thick these concrete slabs are. And so it then, no wonder they had to then at some point request these, heavy-duty machinery and equipment, because I don't think it would have been humanly possible for them to physically be able to move these slabs. But you can see that certainly a lot of work has been done to sort of remove the slabs. I mean, from the first day that we came here, it was just a mountain of debris where the Premier and the teams are currently. There was a mountain of debris there, and so you can see that certainly there has been a lot of work that has been done to clear this debris. And of course, it's important to note yesterday how bad the weather was. It was raining on and off, and then towards the the evening and the afternoon, should I say, the rain just came down quite heavily. And just to see, despite the weather conditions, the amount of work that they have been able to do so far is absolutely incredible. And you could just tell, even from the Premier's facial expression when he's seeing, all of this destruction, just how much it is. And as the rescuers were saying, that it's still going to take quite some time, estimating it to be a week or up to 2 weeks for them to be able to actually possibly get down to the bottom or the first level of this this site. 4 floors collapsed. And this is basically what we are now seeing as the rescuers there are slowly trying to sort of get underneath the ground to get to that 5th body. And of course, just a reminder to our viewers who may have joined us in terms of what is going to be happening now. Once they have recovered the 5th body, the graders are then going to be moving in to clear some of the concrete and some of the debris, and thereafter they will then bring in the sniffer dogs. These are the canines that are experienced in this kind of operation. They will then be brought in to assist, and slowly they will then sort of move their way around this site. We're giving you just a different angle now. My colleague Raimbele just showing us a different angle of what we are able to see. And in your visuals there, we see there's a stretcher that has already been placed. I'm not too sure whether it's an indication that they are about or close to retrieving the body. But once it is then brought up above ground, they will then put it into, of course, the body bag and onto the stretcher, and it will then be moved away from the site. But this is just the level of destruction, that we are seeing here, and just the amount of work that these rescuers need to go through. It's a very tricky and extremely dangerous operation for them. I mean, just look at the concrete slabs. There was also scaffoldings that also fell. There's also large steel poles as well. So it is really, really a difficult really difficult operation for these teams, but they've done an incredible amount of work, and even yesterday the Minister of Public Works thanking them for their hard work and their efforts. It is really not easy, but they've been committed to this, and there is that assurance from the government which said that they're going to stay here as long as possible until they are certain that there's no one else that may be trapped underneath this debris. So I'm not too sure whether there is movement. Griselda, maybe just a note, a disclaimer to viewers on what is going to happen any minute now. We are told that the body is going to be retrieved now, and obviously we're not too sure. We're going to try, of course, to be very respectful, but we're not too sure what condition it is when they pull it out and what we will be able to see. We are, of course, trying to balance sensitivity of this situation, whilst also giving our viewers coverage of exactly what is happening here. But indication is any minute now the body is going to be pulled up to the top. Okay. All right, so rescue is just asking us to shift a bit to allow the Premier just to get a view of what from our vantage point. So we do apologize though for the shaky visuals at times. It's also the terrain as well that we're trying to sort of walk through is also quite difficult. It's slippery, it's quite muddy, and there's certain areas that have been sort of cordoned off by the rescuers. So we're trying to also respect the space as much as we can. But the Premier now getting a view of this team that is about to recover one of the body, and that is the 5th body that we have been reporting on.
No problem, sir. We will be continuing. So we'll only close up when you're going to do the close up.
All right, so there's some movement there with the stretcher. That stretcher is now being pulled. Okay, Chris, let me just quickly for a moment and grab the MEC for a cocktail. Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi. The MEC, thank you so much for your time, and I do know that you're trying to catch up with the Premier. Just to speak to us on this operation, one of the things that you have reassured the public is that these men and women who've done an incredible amount of work since Friday, that they are going to remain on site until you're certain that there's no one else that may be trapped here.
Well, I think that's why the Premier is now going to address the media to give the latest update, because there's just been a new update which happened a few minutes ago, which I think the Premier will now be giving an update on.
But in terms of them staying here, you can reassure the public they're going to remain here?
They will remain for as long as they are needed.
You were also speaking about the assistance. Is there enough, or have they required any additional assistance to come and help? Reinforcements?
No, the reinforcements are here from National, from Western Cape. So the teams are working very well together.
Let me see. Thank you much for your time. We will catch up with you a little bit later. All right. Okay. Okay, Chrisada, we've been asked to move, obviously, while they now recover that body, just for the sensitivity and obviously to respect, for the respect of the families.